back again.
Yay!
And this time is the second episode.
Woo!
Yeah.
So what are we gonna talk about in our second episode?
So we are going to talk about how do we receive the gospel, and how was our life before and after we accept Jesus Christ, and how it has been going till now, and what are our visions for the future. What do you think?
I think that's amazing.
Amazing?
Yes.
Do you want to start?
I think you better start. Always.
This is a serious story, but
That's
also
true.
we want all of you to enjoy this beautiful view while we just talk. So don't feel pressure. As last time we were talking, I'm from Cuba, so I spent like 24 years of my life living there, and I feel like it was a good thing that I was born inside of like a Christian family. Like my grandma, she always went to church. So my grandma, she always took me to church since I have memory. So I grew up inside of the church. I always ask like why my parents, like my mom and my dad, they didn't go with me. But still, I was really young, you know, and I always followed my grandma, and we had so much fun. Like most of my friends were in church, and we had so many good activities, you know, for the kids, and we always went like camping and have this kind of picnics. I mean, Cuba's weather is really nice. It's almost always summer. So you can go to the river, you can go to the beach, you can enjoy like a nice weather for picnic or something like that. So I didn't feel any pressure, you know, like I was just meeting my friends. I didn't know anything like related to God. I was really young, you know. But then when you become a teenager, you have those years when you are rebel, like you want to do what you want to do. You don't want to listen to your parents. You don't want to do anything that they say to you. And I was like, I don't want to say it like that, but I was kind of discovering myself and like thinking, what do I really want? And also like in those times you meet new friends, you go to different schools. So I was like trying to get with these friends, and neither of them they went to church. So I was kind of like falling apart from church, even if I wanted. Like the church situation was also not pretty good. So as a conclusion, I remember one day, and that will be always in my memory, like my grandma came to me on a Sunday morning, and she was like, let's go to church. And I was like, I don't want to go. You go. I don't want. And she told me, if you don't want, I will not give you your birthday present.
Wow. She's so smart.
Yeah, and it was because I really wanted those pair of like sandals for the summer, and she knew it. So she was like, if you don't go to church, I will not give it to you. But then I'm a daddy's princess, you know. I'm his older daughter. So I went directly to my dad, and I was like, my grandma is saying like this, I don't want to go to church, but she's trying to force me to go to church. And my dad was like, why are you doing that to the kid? So I have that kind of memories. But then after that, I remember like she never forced me to attend church. She just had this heart, you know, like you're falling apart, you're trying to not go to church, so I feel like I'm losing you. And now that I'm growing up, like I grew up, I kind of understand why she did it. Of course, it was not the best way, but I really understand that. And then what I always did was prayer. Like even if I didn't actually knew who was Jesus Christ, who was actually God, you know, it was part of my faith, it was part of my life. So I just trust everything to God. you know, even if I didn't know who was God. But like I felt reassurance of everything that I did, just knowing that God was with me all the time. You know, so I always pray for everything, every situation in my life, every place that I went. If I felt like, oh, this is a bad situation, or I should not do this, I always prayed. And I remember when I was in high school, I took the decisions, like I wanted to study in the capital city, far away from my family. And then I said that to my parents, and they said like, okay, you want to go? Just go. Try to survive by yourself. So I took that decision. Until now, I feel like God has let me go to all of those places, you know? Like He has been guiding every step, because every decision that I took, He made it possible. Really, because it's not easy to move to the capital city in Cuba. You need to have money, you need to have a lot of things to prepare. And I didn't prepare anything. I was just like, you know what, I want to try to live in the capital city. And then I applied for this, the major that I wanted, even if education is free in Cuba. Every province only had 2 capacities for that major, and I got 1. So that's how I went to study to Havana, and I spent 5 years living there by myself. And like I said, I was trying to find a good church for me, and like the pastors in church, I know that the situation in Cuba was not good, so I understand that they were talking always about like the economy, the politics situation, but I felt like I don't want to hear about that. I already know that, you know. I wanna somebody who actually explain me more about God, who talks about more about God. I want to know who is Jesus Christ. So I was going to this kind of like just evangelist church in Cuba, and then I changed to another one who is like a Presbyterian church, and in that church I felt so welcome, and I felt so good listening to the message. I usually don't like people, so I just went to listen to the message and I left, you know. So in that time in university, when I was alone, going through different bad situations and bad moments, like I failed some exams and I had to take it again. If I didn't pass that exam, means that I need to repeat the year, that kind of situations. I always was like, you know what, if it's God's will, I will pass it. If it's not, then I will repeat the year. I don't care, I can take it again. You know, it's just one subject, so I'm not gonna be like stressing or losing my time just thinking like, oh, I should have studied more, I should have done this or that, you know. I already did it, so what else can I do? So it was like a time for myself, even if like I cannot say that I accepted Jesus Christ again, because I was already, you know, inside of that gospel life. But like it was a time for me discovering this gospel, like a personal gospel. So I felt like, okay, if He died for me, if He did all of this stuff as Jesus when He came and with His power, why should I be worried? Why should I be trying to find a new way, you know? He opened the way back to God. He opened the way for me. So why should I be trying to go to other places to find the ways? I should not be worried about any of these things. So in that moment is when I started like liking Korean stuff, and I learned a little bit of Korean, and it's when I put my mind on coming to Korea.
Welcome to Korea.
That was the moment that I made my decision. I don't know when, but I will go to Korea.
Wow.
Yes, I always had that kind of fixed mind, if I want to do something, until I get it, I will try it. Of course, I will not force anything, but I will do my best. It's just not sit down and wait for for the answers, or wait for God to hit you and say like, come on, move and do something, And I was like, I did all of these things because God allowed me, and God has been protecting every step, because as I said, Havana is not easy place, and there's so many problems in there. And then been living there by myself, trying to find the good church that like really talk about God. It made me realize like I needed that, like I needed that connection back to God. Not because of my family, not because of my grandma, not because of somebody else. I went alone. Nobody told me to go to church. I just wanted to go. And I felt like it was a good place, and I felt like, I like the message, and I'm understanding the message, and made me feel more close to God, and make me connect better in prayer. And then when I came to Korea and I got to this church, it was so much better. I mean, coming to a different country when they don't speak even your language, they don't even speak English. You can say like, yes, it's running out of storage. And it's so hot. Your phone is really hot. Is it okay?
Storage full.
Not now. It's okay. We
I
can
think so.
repeat
We
the
can
same
repeat
video.
the same video.
Okay. So, coming to Korea, they don't even speak English. So, and finding a church when they even have Spanish translation, it was like the heaven, I don't want to move church. I don't want to go through the same trying to find a new church. I want to stay in here. And then even if they had the translation, but like the place was not good, then you can say like, oh no, I don't belong to here. But I felt like I belonged to that place. So listening to the message, God allowed all of that steps for me to come here, for me to find this church, for me to really understand what is my goal, like my motive, like why am I living here, why am I living in this world right now. So to understand that, I think that led me to Korea. So yeah, like starting living here and listening, like of course the gospel is something that is personal. So even if your grandma, even if your dad, even if your friend comes to you to make you understand this gospel, but it's not your time schedule, and God will not allow it. So you should not force no one to be believer, to believe in this, if they don't have the time schedule prepared yet. So for me, it has been like that, like a personal discovering of this gospel, like this personal gospel, and leading myself to understand that I received that salvation, I received that beautiful gift, and I should share it with other people. Not to keep it to myself. That's too selfish. So we should not be selfish, because God is love, and it's unconditional love. Like we were talking today, it's unconditional. So if He already showed me that unconditional love, at least I should give back like 1% of that to other people. So I discover like it's not only for me, it's for the rest of the world. And like the Bible says that go to all the nations proclaiming this gospel. Till the end of the earth I will be with you, so you don't have anything to fear. So even if we live in a really good world right now, there's no war, there's no killing, there's no persecution, we still have those internal like battles that we have like personally. But like God has been guiding every part of our life, and He's showing us that Korea has been chosen as a place for the foreigners to come. So we don't actually need to go to other places. Foreigners are coming to Korea, like me, you know? So understanding that's part of our mission, to go to these nations, but also to find these like elites, these really important people that are coming to Korea, and give them the gospel, give them the training, and send them back to their nation so they could raise this evangelist movement in their nations. I think is one of my biggest missions. That's why I always decided to like make my own NGO, and with that NGO help other nations, but at the same time give them this beautiful gospel, this beautiful good news, and in a really natural way. You know, like I'm living, and I hear other people when they come to me, and it's not to be bragging about anything, but they say like, why are you so happy? You're going through so many things. You don't even have a house for yourself. You don't have that much money. You're working every day like a slave. Why are you so happy? And like, I have the motive to be happy. I have this life. God allowed me to have this life. God knows that I'm doing the correct thing, you know, so I don't have to change anything. I know that my family is doing okay because I'm praying
For them.
like crazy for them, so they can be fine until the time schedule for them comes to listen the correct gospel. And that everything that we do it for this gospel, you know. So I'm not living only for myself, I'm living for the gospel. So I feel like that's my entire life. That is my way of living this gospel. So yeah, anyways, like that has been my life as a Christian till now. Discover my personal gospel when I was around maybe 22, 23, while I was in university, and I reaffirmed that gospel when I came to Korea. So that means when I was like 25. So yes, I don't want to keep all of this for myself. That's why we decided to open this kind of podcast. And yeah, for the future I want to do all of that. I want to open my own NGO. I want to go to other nations. I want this podcast goes to more people so they can ask us new questions and we can answer them, and maybe we can do other, maybe, I don't know, social media stuff in the future, for using it as also part of different method to other people knows more about the gospel. So yeah, that's it for me. If not, I will continue talking, so please stop me. Make me stop.
Thank you for Claudia to share your story.
Yes, I hope you enjoyed to listen to my story while watching this beautiful ocean side. Now it's Gina's turn.
I'm not good at like as Claudia speaks, even English, but I will try to my best.
You're good.
Yes, actually, my experience is totally different with Claudia because I grew up in non-believer family and I accepted Jesus Christ when I was a university student. Actually, I remember the first time when I went to church, I was 9 years old or 8 years old, something like that. And then the church people, they were standing in front of my elementary school and they gave it to me like some party invitation card. We come to the church, we have a party, like something like that. You can eat many like great food, like delicious food, something like. I always attracted by food. So that's why I remember it, and I went to church. I really by myself. Even it was near my house. That's why I went. So yeah, I went with my friends to eat chicken actually, and then it was really nice. From that point on, I started to go to church, and I think I still remember like it was first time to feel something like fresh, like a refresh, like
new thing.
like new things. Still, I remember the feeling the first time when I got to church, but at the time I thought it was just a moment, but now I reflect at that back time, maybe it was time to experience like Holy Spirit. I can say it. And there are always Christian friends around me, and they always invite me to come to church. My close friends are always Christian the most. That's why I go to church, and sometimes I also spend my time for 1 year in church when I was 10 years old. But I stopped to go to church because I had to move my house. Then church was so far from my house, that's why I stopped to go to church. But when I was in high school students, my friends invited me to come to church for a retreat, and I went to church retreat even if I didn't go to church. and then I met some guy whom I like actually. Then I was like, okay, I will go to church, but I didn't go because I could not wake up in the holy time on Sunday. Yeah, that was my kind of church story when I was teenager. But actually, when I really got to church, since I became adult, I really suffer a lot, and I had a really like depression right before accepting Jesus Christ, because my parents like divorced when I was 9 years old, and I used to live with only my father, and my father like got married like 5 times. And then 2 times was like foreign. Got to the overseas as a student in New Zealand for 1 year, and I spent my time in New Zealand was like, wow, that's the new life. Like can't expect life in Korea.
Yeah.
And then I want to stay in New Zealand, but I have to back Korea again because because of the economic situation. And I used to live in Yeongyang, which is the rural area in Korea, for 3 years in dormitory for girls school. I feel like I was trained there. I need to wake up at 5:30, and
That's why you're so good waking up.
kinda, maybe I can say, I don't know, but still it was hard. Still it is hard, and I have to study till 12.
Oh my.
Like only for studying, and everyone like especially in Korea, students only thinking about entering to good university for 3 years in high school. That's why I choose to enter the dormitory for 3 years. But my father got a cancer when I was last year of the high school. So that's why, of course, I kept studying, but I could not really, I can say, like concentrate on this. But my father passed away before my exam, before the university exam. Yes, like 1 week ago of the exam. And I can say it because of my father, but anyway, I failed. It was my ability. I can really say it.
Yeah, let's blame someone.
Yes. And yeah, that kind of whole situation, like my father passed away and I failed to enter into university, and my family was broken. Like I cannot like concentrate on like good things, and I cannot like I was really positive person, but at that time I was so depressed and I don't know what I'm gonna do. Even I cannot say how my feeling is like that to others people. So that's why my mom remarried in Busan. So that's why I decided to come to Busan right away after everything finished and my university stops. And my mother said, why don't you like live in Busan? And why don't you try to go university in Busan? I say, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to even stay in Busan. Like, I didn't. Yeah, if you are seized by some spirit of the success and spirit of something like that, like everyone like thinking about to go to Seoul.
Of course, yeah.
And I used to live in Seoul. That's why.
I understand.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like feel like want to come to Busan, and my friends are all in Seoul. So that's why I didn't say like yes right away. But I feel like peace. I feel very comfortable when I am with my mom and like my brothers. So some way, like some heart, I want to stay in Busan, but the other heart, I need to go to Seoul. Yeah, it's like I was confused. But anyway, I really failed every university. That's why, okay, whatever goes, like, no, I can't do anything. Like, I feel like stop anything on my will.
Oh, exactly.
So that's why, okay, whatever, I'm staying in Busan. And just, I need a rest with my mom. So I decided to just stay in Busan when I was 21 years old. And in that situation, like, that brings me so much depression, so much like sadness. And even if I try to overcome it, so I was okay when I'm with people, but at that time I even was not okay when I'm with people. Like in my heart, I cannot like love with sincerely and genuinely. So that's why I start to do volunteership. Maybe if I'm doing volunteership, maybe I can be better. So I start to research what volunteership I can do, and then some NGO or some organization call me like to come to here to teach history to old people. So I feel like okay, I will try. And then once a week I start to go there, and I teach history and I met old people, and it was nice. It was good. And then I met one person who shared the gospel to me. She's my spiritual mother. And she's senior deaconess on my church.
Yes.
Just right away when she met me, like she just right away shared the gospel to me actually. It was kind of rude actually, like to just right away say the gospel to just people who didn't know. And then I was like, oh my God. Oh, okay, I need to get out here. How can I get out here? And then she say, follow something. And I say, okay, if I follow something, maybe I can get out here quickly. So I follow the acceptance prayer.
Oh my God!
That's why I follow the acceptance prayer actually. To finish everything. And you know my character, like I'm not really like saying to people like I want to get out here, I want to go like this. And that's why I wait till she finished and I follow acceptance prayer. And then but after like we are talking like small talk, after we had a small talk, I kind of had that one thought, why everyone's talk about God and why I don't know God. It's a simple question, but I was kind of curious why everyone always whether he's good person, bad person, and like whatever, like why they are always talk about God and why I can't talk about God. And I saw the television in the past, like shamanism, like fortune teller comes on television and do some exorcism. And then I also was curious why they are doing something like things. So anyway, I heard the gospel and I answered, I don't believe God because He's unseen to my eyes, and also I believe science. I believe Big Bang Theory that I learned in school. So that's why I don't think so God exists. And she said, okay, I think you are smart. So I think I want to talk with you more. Like, why don't you have like this kind of forum together once a week? I will buy a lunch for you.
Here you have.
I didn't remember anything, but just lunch, just the food. Oh, lunch, that's nice. You know.
Yeah, you love food.
I love food. So like when everyone like, okay, let's have a lunch, let's have a dinner. I will buy for you, and then okay, and like I never reject.
Of course. Who can reject
a free meal? So I was just first year of the university. So yeah, okay. And then I really went after 1 week. I didn't forget. I didn't even her phone number, but I really went. After I finished volunteership, I went to her office and I said, "Hey, I come."
Here I am.
Here I am.
Give me food.
And then yeah, we had a meal for lunch, of course, and yeah, we talked like for 2 hours, 3 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was nice to me. It was nice to me to have a like friend, like secret friend, whom I just can talk and whom just give me some wisdom and knowledge about life, because she's like really old, like 60 years old person. That's why she has many experience and many wisdom, and she looks so happy. She looks like she's satisfied in her life.
Yes.
So that's why I think she's a good person. Maybe because she's in the volunteership organization, and yeah, maybe I can learn from others. So I think that's good things. So we continue to have that meeting for 8 months.
Wow.
For 8 months, I ate free meal. That's
I
why
see.
I'm trying to buy many meal for younger people
Right now?
right now, because I feel I have a responsibility
I
of it,
understand.
and I know that's how worthy and works really for the young people.
Yes. For no money people.
For no money people. And yeah, we had a time for 8 months, and I think she's really sincere to me. She was so sincere to me, and she really cared to me. She never say like come to my church,
Yeah.
and she never like forced me something like that, and she always gave me some good book, recommend me books,
Yeah.
or good program, good movie, and talk about lives. And I was not person who talk about my real heart, especially about my family stuff and like that.
Yeah.
But I talked to her, and then after I talk to her everything, while I think about it, I feel so refresh my heart,
Yeah.
and really recovering little bit. But still, I was not recovered perfectly, but a little bit I recovered it. And I told her I want to go Australia for take a break, because I live my life for like so diligently, and I think if I reflect my life when I was in New Zealand, it was best time and best happiness time for me. So I want to go to some overseas to take a rest for 1 year. So through the working holiday visa, I went to Australia, and she recommended me one church in Australia, in
Yeah.
Sydney. So yeah, I went to that church because I had so much free time, and I didn't get the job yet for a few like first months. So that's why I had nothing to do, just having fun and spending money, and just
I know.
that's why I just start to go to church in there.
I see.
And then there are many programs in that church, and there are many evangelism camps near my house, because my house was one of the university, and they always came to university to camp once a week. So I also participated, because after we finished evangelism camp, pastor bought meal. Just
Always
kidding.
Food, always food.
I'm kidding. Yeah, church is good.
Okay.
And it was good to have. We are having about. I can meet people there.
Yeah.
I can hear some good lesson. Like I thought the message was a lesson, so I think it was worthy. Not rather than just doing nothing.
Yeah. That's good.
Then slowly, yeah, I became involved in church, and then I don't know. I could not explain in words. I feel like I recovered perfectly. Like I was not happy, like the first year at the university.
Yeah.
Like I cannot laugh in genuinely, but I can see that I'm making tears because I'm so happy. So I cannot explain how I became like that.
Yeah.
But just inside of the gospel message and hearing every day hearing the message of the gospel, I start to change by myself. That's why I cannot just explain how I like changed so much. Just from that moment, like I became so happy, and then I feel like there is answer inside of here, but I didn't still know what the gospel about the Jesus Christ and about the God and the Bible.
Yeah.
But I realized there is true happiness inside of it. So let's try to be here until I found the answer,
yeah.
the exact answer. So that's why I just stay in church if I have time. So whenever I have time, I just go to church and I go to worship and hang out with people in church and got close with them, got close with people. So it was nice. And then I back to Korea after 1 year. And I don't know still the exact answer, but I feel like I need to be trained because I know myself there is so many things I need to be trained. So also my house was so far from my university.
Yeah.
So I think going to enter into some mission home is the best option for me. So I entered the mission and I trained for like 2 years.
2 years.
Yes.
Oh,
It
that's
it
long.
changed me a lot. Actually 1.5 years. It changed a lot for me.
For good?
For good. Yeah, really for good. And now I realize my vision from the message. From the message was saying, right now, how do you think like about the gospel's flow? Where gospel is going right now?
Yeah.
And I thought myself maybe Korea, but the pastor said no, it's multi-ethnic. The gospel will go to the multi-ethnic people. And at that time, something hit on my head. Oh, the gospel is going to multi-ethnic, but I had experience in New Zealand, in Australia, and also my father had an experience to marry the Uzbekistan. So I was like, oh, okay. So how living is hard as an overseas student, and anything I saw it, I feel, oh, that's my God's calling
Yeah.
to use for that.
Truly.
And then I really want to go to overseas for living, like to immigrate something like Hawaii or America or
Alright.
yeah. But the message always saying that you need to take care of the foreigner who already are in Korea.
Yeah, right.
And that make me stay in Korea actually.
Thank you.
I plan to go to America for studying when I was bachelor, but I was so busy to be trained in church inside. So anyway, I could not prepare well. But whatever the message is talking about that, and I think I cannot prepare for going abroad.
Yeah.
So okay, whatever, just stay in Korea. Let's see what is God's do. And then I see how God is working through me to proclaim and testify the gospel to many people from the overseas. So I'm really thankful and really grateful to be used by that. And right now I'm studying in area study, but my major is kind of immigration and immigrant flow in Israel.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy for that, to study about my major and to study more about immigrants.
Yeah.
So maybe one day I want to pray for immigrants to receive and be trained this exact gospel. And also maybe in future, I'm still doesn't know yet, but by God's grace, I have been in Israel for 3 weeks. That makes me to see the end of the earth. End of the earth. The end of the earth. Yeah, in Acts chapter 1 verse 8. So you'll be a witnesses to the end of the earth. And I do believe right now the gospel will be proclaimed from Korea to Israel. Because that land right now between the two nations, not yet proclaimed the gospel yet. So that's why I do believe God will use for people who has a correct gospel to proclaim the gospel to East Asia and South Asia and Middle East and till the end of the earth, maybe Jewish. So yeah, I'm praying for this, and right now, and thank you for that. I think I finished.
You finished.
Yes.
That was really nice to hear. I actually knew a lot of like part of your story.
Yes.
But it's good to hear it sometimes, because it can become like a new prayer topic and to get to know more about that person. And even if we have like different ways, different lifestyle till now, we believe in the same God.
Amen.
And we are on the same flow with similar vision, you know, because your vision is to go to the nations, and I'm one of that nations.
Yes. Cuba.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that's all for today.
That's all for today.
We have been talking a lot.
44 minutes.
It was really nice to just be honest and sit down and talk a little bit while maybe you're listening to the sound of the wave, and we are looking at the ocean right now, so it's really calming. So anyways, see you
on next video.
Yes, see you on the next chapter.
Yeah, next episode
of this podcast.
Of the podcast, yes.
Of Cloud and
Gina's
Gina's journey.
journey.
Bye.
Bye, thank you very much.